Familia, welcome to a very special episode of Power of X-Men featuring Emma Dumont.
Familia, I
Beautiful.
am here with a very sorry.
I already messed up, friends.
Okay, wait, Emma. I don't know if you know this, but here at Power of X-Men, we call everyone Familia.
Oh, I love that! That's so sweet! Because we are. Beautiful. Hello, Familia.
Right now.
I love it.
How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing much better now that I'm speaking with you. I've been so excited today.
Were you doing poorly before?
Was I doing poorly before? No, but you know what? Sidebar, because I was telling you this before we hit record. I was going to show you my horrible background again, but we have the Polaris background.
Oh, love her.
But no, we were doing renovations, and it's so tough. And then when I was talking to my husband, I was like, I'm speaking to Emma Dumont tonight.
And he was like, who?
Oh, no. He is a huge stan. He says hello.
Oh, hello then. Hello back. We'll hang out. We're gonna go for drinks during MutantCon, so.
Yes! So, Familia, we have Emma Dumont, Polaris on the Gifted, here on Power X-Men. Emma, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you for your time. I'm so excited. Any opportunity to... Wait, can I swear? Or is that...
You
what
can
are the
swear
rules?
as much
Okay,
as
I was gonna say shoot the shit, but I just want to be careful. Any opportunity to shoot the shit about X-Men or anything mutants is always a good time.
Emma, I have to tell you, one of the things that I love about your presence is your energy. And I'm forgetting where I was listening to this, but there's this conversation about people who have large souls and the responsibility people have with large souls to just make others feel included. And you just make me, like, anytime I see your videos pop up or when you're having a conversation that's very honest and off the cuff, I just feel part of a larger conversation. So thank you for that. Thank you for who you are.
Cry.
I've never had a guest cry. What is wrong with you?
That's like really sweet. That's so kind. I feel the same about you. What is it? A large soul? I feel you also have a large soul that's like inclusive and like you said, familia, like we're all part of, a group. We're all part of this family, and I think that's really wonderful.
Can I ask, how did Polaris come on your radar initially?
I think I always knew that there was a third, well, technically a fourth child, I think. But I wasn't like super familiar until I got the
Mhm.
call.
The
And when we auditioned for the show, I've told this story a million times, so it never gets any less weird. When Marvel auditions people for stuff, they tell you literally no information, absolutely nothing, and not even what the powers are. So you like go in and it's just a random scene from like it has nothing to do with anything. Nobody knows. And so when I got the call, I was really excited. I didn't even know I was cast as a mutant. I thought I was going to be cast as a human. Um, and so when they called me, they were like, blah, blah, here's, your boss on the phone. I was like, great. Hello, boss. And they're like, so you're going to play, uh, Magneto's daughter, I believe, is like the first thing that was said. And I was like, wait, what? I got a little confused for a moment. And then they were like, Polaris. And I was like, oh, that's the third one. That's the youngest. I know her. I know her. And I immediately like deep dove into everything. Just to like fully immerse myself, learn as much as I could. Literally spent that night awake all night because what an honor. And the fact that they knew, like Fox and Marvel knew it was an honor because the way I was told was not like you're playing Lorna Dane. It was that you are playing Magneto's daughter, like basically mutant royalty, and we all sort of understood that she was really important. Not only like what she does, her message, what she's about, representation for mental health, but also just like she's a little bit important to like legacy, and there's a little bit of like little mutant royalty in her blood. So yeah, very exciting. Uh, oh, I didn't believe it when they told me, to be honest. So
Okay, I'm sorry. Like, how do you even begin to process that someone on the other end of the phone is like, you're playing Magneto's daughter. Like I don't know, my mouth would just drop. I would go insane.
It did, and I don't think I just I don't think I said words maybe for the first 5 minutes of the phone call. I was just like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Um,
You're like, yeah, yeah,
because
uh-huh.
and then in my head I'm like, wait, then I'm trying to figure out like, is she a villain? Is she a good guy? Like who is, like I
She's
need to
all
kind
of
of
it.
piece all those,
She's all
yeah,
of
all of it. She's
it.
all of it. And trying to piece all those things together because as an actor, it's just the most exciting. It's the most exciting call you could get. If people always ask like, "What are your dream role? What's your dream role?" I got my dream role, and I got to play her, and she's a part of my soul forever. So
Well, here's the thing. There is no one out there who could have done Polaris the way you did her.
that's
And I
not
just
true.
no, let the gay boy here gush over you. And like, here's the thing. Here's the thing, because you just said it right now. Polaris is a character who's emblematic of royalty, of mental health, of being a villain, being a hero. She is all of that. And you understood it so well in that first night, in that moment, in that call. And very little people, I feel, can metabolize the spectrum of what a
Hmm.
fictional character embodies. And here's the thing, I'm going to be very honest with you. I was a little skeptical about The Gifted when it was first announced.
Me
And
too. Are you
then
kidding?
and then I saw you. And then of
Really?
course, yeah, no, and then I saw the Stepford Cuckoos, I saw Amy Acker, I saw everyone. And you guys all drove it home, but I need to give credit where credit is due. Polaris, you as Polaris were the flagship for that series. And
No.
everyone DMs always about you.
I'm so embarrassed.
I know, I'm
I'm like,
sorry, I'm
how do
embarrassing you. You
I'm
are
like,
sorry.
I'm so red.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry, Queen. I'm
don't
sorry. I'm
apologize.
sorry, Popo
No,
Queen.
Hobo Queen. No, you're amazing. It's so
Yeah,
kind. Again, I'm in a place where I have no words
yeah,
because your kindness is just so, it's too much. I don't deserve it. But yeah, I also loved Polaris was also my favorite character on the gift. So actually, that's a lie. That's 100% a lie. That's a lie. She is my favorite because she's fun to watch, right? My
yeah.
favorite character, genuinely, like as an adult human, like living in this country, was Agent Jace.
Oh, yeah,
Um, Jace in your face, as we called him, because that's just a lesson we all need to probably think about. That,
yeah.
his storyline just about basically becoming a Nazi, which I wasn't allowed to say while we were doing press for the show. I was asked multiple times to not use the word Nazi.
Mhm.
I ignored that advice. But
Shocker.
ooh, yeah, yeah, I'm a little have a hard time following rules. No, but I just think that's really honestly important because we got to solve this stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
as like Homo sapiens, like we need to solve like bigotry. All this stuff needs to be like, just let's figure it out. Let's cut it off. Let's do it. But yeah,
Well,
Polaris is great too.
well, no, I mean, listen, here's the thing. What again, to reiterate why I think you were just perfect for the role is that I think you metabolize the mutant metaphor, and we understand how it's applicable in today's world, and we also understand the challenges we face in today's world, and it's a scary time out there. And that's why, again, when we were talking before we hit record, your your presence is so important right now, especially in
Is
our
it?
ex familia right here. Yes. People would just talk. That's it. That's all. I
Yeah.
feel if people just talk about
Hmm.
what's happening out there and have honest conversations about things for soy cubano, mi apellido es Flores. And you posted recently about Latinx and it being a term.
Hmm.
Come on. You know what I mean? These are conversations that need to be happening.
I think so. I think so too. Yeah, I really do. But what I think happens is I think people get embarrassed, especially white folks. I can speak for us because I am white. Okay, nobody come for me. But I think we get embarrassed or we're nervous to be canceled or we're nervous to say the wrong thing. I I've come to a point in my life where I've seen it all. I've almost died. I have no more fear of saying the wrong thing. My only fear is not being loving towards others. And
Yeah.
I think the best way to be loving and protective over others is to say the hard things, ask the hard questions. Like the Latinx video I posted, for those of you who haven't seen it, it was basically questioning like where did the term Latinx come from? Does everyone use it? Like what's going on in the community? And this isn't a conversation about me. It has nothing to do with me. I just wanted to create a space where people from the community could share. And what I found is that there really seems to be a big group of white people trying to tell young Hispanic Americans what terms to use for themselves. And I don't know, that's just I haven't taken a full big sample of the entire country, but so far it kind of seems like there is an issue and it's nobody from the community, if that makes sense.
No, it's 100% like makes sense. My dear friend Kyle Lushawu, who just published her first book, Win Me Something.
Oh wow.
Yes, Queen. We've talked at length many nights in the city, back in New York City, about Latinx and that terminology and how in the Spanish language you have the male and female form of things, but you have a new generation of
Yeah.
Latin youth who don't identify, who just want to have a term that encompasses them
Everyone,
and
yeah.
everyone. And it comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of strength and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
those conversations are just not happening in like-minded circles just because there's so much going
Really.
on. So again, when you start bringing up these questions, for me, the way you approach your presence, the way I see it is that it really is an IRL superhero. Maybe even how Popo, Queen Popo would be IRL, because Popo, again, is emblematic of mental health. I don't know how familiar
Mhm.
you are with some of her stories in the comics.
Well, she definitely has, I'm not going to say that the depiction of bipolar was accurate in the comics. I'm not going to say that she was not um at times misrepresented, especially in those earlier, I mean,
Mm.
we've all seen The Wedding, you know what I mean? You know what happened.
Oh wait,
We-
sidebar though. Do you know Demanda Martini? She did Polaris in the wedding
and
dress.
oh, no, I haven't
She
seen this.
Oh, wait. She told me to make sure you saw it. Wait, I'm gonna have to pull it up for
Yes,
you.
please do.
Oh my
Please do. Oh
God.
my gosh, that's amazing.
So Demanda Martini, shout out to Demanda Martini. She's a cosplayer and drag queen. And
Amazing.
we love her so much. We had Chuck Austin, who was a writer for that issue, and we showed him that he loved it so much. Um, But it's so funny because when she was doing the Polaris in the wedding dress, people at I want to say it was Dragon Con
It
were
probably
yelling
was.
were yelling at her Dragnito. And she turned around, she goes, I'm Polaris, like schooling people, which was hysterical.
Okay,
Demanded
wait,
Martinelli.
that is hysterical, but also the term dragnito needs to be brought back around. That
I
needs to
know.
be something. I don't know what it needs to be, but it needs to be something.
Well, if there's someone who can do it, it's definitely going to be Demanda Martini. Shout out to Demanda Martini. We love you so much, Queen.
Love it.
Um,
Shout out.
But I'm gonna have to send it to you afterwards because it's not coming up
Please
in
do.
my folder here. So
Okay, yeah,
we'll
yeah,
cut
yeah.
this.
Please
We'll
do.
cut
Yeah,
this part.
we'll do this. Yeah. Or keep it in, whatever.
We'll keep it in.
I could just pretend. Yeah, we'll keep it in.
But yeah, I mean that situation where she was left at the altar. I mean, it was. By the way, the entire arc. She survived the genocide of Genosha, and there's this moment in there where Xavier goes into her head, and he's here like, "Oh, Lorna." She goes, "It's okay, Xavier. I'm sorry. I get it. I'm not going to hurt anyone." And she takes
Yeah.
ownership. She
Yeah.
understands everything. It's so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. And I think that really what you just said encompasses perfectly what I was saying before about people being afraid to be wrong. Lorna is never afraid to be wrong. She will act, and sometimes she acts in bad ways. Sometimes it's in violence or in anger, but she will always take responsibility. And I think that is the most important thing. I think we could all learn a lesson from Lorna Sally Jane.
Well, it's all well, it's the ownership. And that's
Totally.
something, by the way, so we do have to spoil one of our upcoming listener questions. I mean,
Ooh.
Polaris in the comic books recently is sort of I don't depict it with her coffee, like but first coffee kind of deal.
Hmm.
So Michelle Waffle Diddle, who's one of our co-hosts here on Power of X-Men, she wants to know, what is your ideal morning coffee situation? Do you have a
Oh, I
latte? Do you have a
love
cold
this.
brew? How
Oh
do
my
you start your morning
gosh.
off? Do you even drink coffee?
I love this question. I don't really drink that much coffee. I've been trying to drink water. Imagine that. Like who? Never met her. Um, but when I do drink coffee, it's a black coffee hot with one Splenda, and I believe that's also what Lorna would drink in real life.
Have you seen those images with Polaris
I
recently?
have actually, they're really funny. I don't know
Where
why I find them so funny. I'm just like,
because she's like literally sipping her coffee going like this.
wait, I have a hilarious story that totally is apropos to this. Oh my
Yes,
gosh,
let's see
let
it.
me tell it instead of telling you I have a story. So, Skylar Samuels, who played, let me think of all their names. She played Esme, Phoebe, Mindy. No, wait, which ones did we have? We had Phoebe, not Mindy.
You
Did
had
we have Mindy?
Sophie. Did you have Sophie?
Sophie, that's right.
Sophie.
Sophie, I forget. There are five of them for those of you who don't know
And
out
by the
there.
way, she was on Scream Queens as well.
Oh my gosh,
And we
yes.
loved her on Scream Queens.
Skylar is such, oh, we love her in everything. She is like the best person I've ever met in my life. Genuinely, like such a good person. She like, I was like struggling with mental health and she like took me to meditation classes and I like, she's so sweet. I love her. Um, but there was a scene where her and I got in like a little tiff because we both wanted to be drinking coffee in the not a real tip, but like it was just like really funny because we had both asked the director I think at the same time, and I think this I forget what happened. Either they didn't let either of us have coffee, or we do both have coffee. I don't remember which one it was, but it was really funny. We were both like, we really feel like our characters would be drinking coffee in this scene. Anyway, but I guess it was too many coffee cups. I have no idea, but
How can
it was
one
hilarious.
wait? I'm sorry. How does one have too many coffee cups
I'm
in a
not
scene?
sure. I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna be real. When you're an actor, there are a lot of made up rules that you have to follow for no reason. Like I remember in season two when I did the labor scene, she has a baby. If you guys haven't seen it, my character had a baby. And it's pretty dramatic. And they wanted Percy, who played Andy, he's like plays like a 16-year-old kid, to like hold my hand during the delivery and like
Mhm.
help me breathe through it and do all this weird stuff. And I was like, please get the child out of the room. That's like the weirdest. Like, nah, we're not doing that, man. Like, And then I got pulled aside and they were like, Emma, you're not in charge here. I'm like, I know I'm not in charge. Like, I'm just an actor and I don't think I'm in charge, but that's creepy. Like, bye.
You're like, bye. Yeah. I listen. It's television, but you know what? Here's the thing, though. Wait. Oh my God. Wait. Demanda Martini just sent me her Polaris. Wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm being distracted
Yay!
here. Let me see
No,
if I can drop it
don't
here in the
finish.
chat.
Oh,
Hang
please
on.
do. I can't wait.
Oh my God, you're gonna love it when you see it because
I'm
it's
so
Polaris in the
excited.
wedding dress. But again, it's like this total ownership and just like love for the character. And if I remember correctly, Demanda spent all night trying to get all of the particulars right.
That's
Hang on,
amazing.
hang on, let's drop it.
Who was the girl that Alex left for? Anna?
Oh,
Annie?
Annie. Do
Annie,
you want
that's
to talk
right.
about? Wait, let me ask you this question while I pull it up. Uh,
Okay.
okay, so Emma, we have to ask, what do you think of Nurse Annie?
Hater, nemesis. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, honestly, what I think is that Nurse Annie is an innocent and Alex needs to go to therapy.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, Nurse Annie took care of Alex when he
Hmm.
was in the Mutant X universe, and he was
Hmm.
still coming back here. And Polaris was going through her own shit.
She
And
was,
everyone
yeah.
was kind of forcing them to be together because the X-Men so
Yeah,
desperately wanted a happy ending.
of
And they're
course. But
like,
like, why?
yeah, no. It's like Polaris like needed to be on her own,
Yeah,
and
thank you.
Alex needed to figure out things with herself.
Yes, yes, exactly. I agree. But also, like Lorna, you don't need to like try to attack people. Like, girl, just call your therapist. It's gonna be okay.
Hang on, I'm going to send this to you on email because it's
Okay,
not letting
perfect,
me
perfect.
share it here. I don't know why, because Zoom, of course, wants to be problematic right now.
Oh, Zoom, you're canceled.
Zoom, I'm over you. But
Oh my
there's
gosh, I got canceled. I got X-Men related canceled.
wait, tell me about how you got X-Men related. Okay, wait, first of all, I feel like that's something I should know. I shouldn't be surprised. How did you get X-Men related canceled?
I got canceled because I said I was trying to acknowledge the like whitewashing in media, but at the same time I wanted to recognize Elizabeth Olsen's portrayal of Wanda
Hmm.
and Vonda. We could get into that discussion later,
Yeah.
um, but I said I was like, yeah, is Elizabeth Olsen the perfect Scarlet Witch? Yes, she's great, and people were really offended because she is a white woman, not of Romani ancestry, and I understand, and I've apologized since. And what also can be true is that that actor was hired for a job and does the best they can with it. Those things both can be true. So,
Well, so we've talked about this before on the podcast. There have been some actors who don't necessarily fit the roles that they were
mhm.
assigned, but here's a problem that I feel what I feel about is specifically for me as a white male. I don't feel like I'm ever in a position to tell a female identifying actor in Hollywood what they could or could not take, especially given all the sexism out there, all the problems that they face. So Elizabeth Olsen was probably coming in for a role and was very excited for it and has done a very great job for it,
Mhm.
especially in a situation where we have lots of Chris's out there. We have a character like Wanda who, let's be
A
honest,
lot of Chris's.
we showed up to Multiverse of Madness for Wanda.
Wanda, we
You
did.
know,
I did. We all did. Um, that's so you have such a important point of view. I really appreciate what you said. Um, that's so
but
that's
here's
so
I'm
yeah, sorry,
I'm
go
sorry to
ahead.
cut you off. No, I'm cutting
No,
you off. But
go.
it's okay to be wrong about situations like
Exactly.
this.
And this is what we're talking
Yeah,
about. Yes, exactly.
it's
And
okay to
I
be
was
wrong.
wrong and I offended people. And it's okay to be wrong. And it's also okay to understand that things aren't black and white. The world is messy. And what people on the outside don't understand is that when she auditioned for that role, like me, probably didn't know what the role was. You actually sign your contract
Yeah,
before they tell you what role you're playing. You sign, like, as far as television, I don't know about movies, but and actually I do know about movies. You do have to sign because then you do the test. And also for TV, you sign for like 6 years. So, also I want people to keep in mind that I was working for Marvel at the time. And even though I want to like address social issues, I'm also not going to be like, F you, Marvel,
my
it's
dad says
Marvel.
marble. My dad, because my dad, I'm a first generation American, so my dad is Cuban. So he'll
Oh
be
my
he.
gosh,
So even this morning, he's here like, "Are you doing a marble podcast
I'm
tonight?"
obsessed. And you're like,
Yeah,
yes, Papa, I
I was
am.
like, "Yes."
Are you guys
Um,
close?
we are. So we moved down to Miami, back to Miami from New York because my mom is sick. She has dementia right now.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And my husband and I, we found a perfect little, loft in a great neighborhood. So it's a amicable situation, but yeah, we are close. I see them daily, and it's so interesting to be that kid who went away for like 15, 20 years and now is kind of back and
Mm-hmm.
trying to help the homestead and just believe, not unlike Polaris. See what I did there?
Yeah, that was good. That was good. You brought it back around.
I'm trying to deflect off of me like a true narcissist here,
I do
but
the same thing. Oh my God, that's the opposite of what a narcissist does. A narcissist is like me.
the thing is to circle back on sort of everything we've talked about. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have difficult conversations that you don't always land correctly. I
Totally.
think the casting for Wanda is one of the ones that we should all have an honest conversation because Elizabeth Olsen
Yeah.
is doing a phenomenal job in a
Yes.
very male-dominated franchise.
World.
She is,
Absolutely.
she is standing very tall and bringing in Iron Man level enthusiasm. And as sort of a byproduct of that, some of the other listener questions we have gotten has been, has Emma ever met Elizabeth? And would she want to act, in a House of M style story with Scarlet Witch? Wait, wait,
Let's,
wait.
yeah.
Wait. I have to ask the first official question though. I'm so
Okay.
sorry. Have you have? this isn't a fair question to ask because I get it. You can deflect it. You can say no. Has there ever been a talk about Polaris coming into the MCU officially? Your iteration of Polaris.
No, absolutely not.
There's
Absolutely
no
not.
you feel like I can't say anything.
No, absolutely not. I'm so glad you asked
Yeah.
because people love to ask me that question, and it's unfortunate, but I'm just like, nope, they don't want me, and that's okay. Why would they want me? I'm not famous or a name, or I can't make them money, and that's like, let's be honest, Disney is a huge corporation. What they want is money. I can't bring them that, and so they don't aren't going to put me in their shows and their product, the product they're selling. So no,
That's
there is
fair. I'm sorry
yeah.
to interrupt you. That's fair. But I have 45 responses if you're going to be in the MCU. And I only posted the story like 5 hours ago. Just sidebar. Sidebar.
I
That is, I'm sorry. I politely disagree with you and Disney as a corporation because you are. Anyways, I'm sorry. Continue on
Well,
your point.
if we could get that to 45 million, then they might be forced to put me in. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. No,
That's fair.
no. And you can always interrupt me because I'm a ranter and raver. But yeah, I would love to. Not gonna lie, I definitely have called my agents and been like, when I found out about WandaVision, I was like, I want in the show. Call them.
Yeah.
I was like, call them. I want in the show. And they said no, and that's okay.
What? That makes no sense to me.
Actually, I don't know if they said no. I don't know if any their
Right.
conversation ever happened. But I'm a bold person. I don't know where I get it from. Maybe it's genetics, maybe it's life experience, but I again
Or
have
the
no
fact that
shame
you're
in
a big soul. You
yeah,
were
or
just
the
born
big
a big
soul
soul.
theory, maybe. I have no time for not putting myself out there. So I'll let me in the show. If they the worst they can do is say no. And they did, and here we are. So it's all good.
You would have, listen, we loved Evan Peters coming in
Oh my
as,
gosh.
yeah.
I have to admit something. This
Mhm.
is embarrassing, but again, I'm in my like brutal honesty phase of life. When when Evan Peters was cast as like his sort of version of Pietro, I don't know how to say his name. How do you say it? It's no, it's
I
not
say
Russian.
Pietro. I just say
Okay.
Pietro. You
Okay,
said it
word.
far better than I could
I
ever.
did not. I always get embarrassed. It's the same
Don't
thing
be
with Vonda.
embarrassed.
I'm like, is it Wanda? Is it Vonda? Anyway, um, I there was a little tiny part of me because I've tried for a long time not to think about Lorna. Um, and there was a part of me when I just saw that online that was like, as a fan, I was so excited and I love the show. As a human, there was a little bit like because the reality that someone else would be cast as Lorna Dane suddenly became like something that was possible and could maybe potentially happen. And I got a little sad, and that's okay. I'm human after all, you know. I'm a sensitive creative. I'm not embarrassed of it.
Well, A, you shouldn't be embarrassed by it. B, I think I speak for a lot of X-Men fandom right now when I say the idea of someone other than you playing Lorna Dane, especially right now, ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous.
No,
I say that with a lot of love and respect for a property, for a fictional character,
yeah.
for an IP. It's just that you nailed it in a way that has
Oh,
resonated with
sweetie.
fans. But see, I have to tell you, I understand that because you posted something recently and it just spoke so. I get emotional.
No, me
Yeah,
too.
sorry.
No, don't be.
The last year has been really tough on me, but I know a lot of people who engage with Power of X-Men. They DM me about how X-Men saved their life, and you posted about Polaris and how she saved your life, and how you were able to come in every day and be a character who imbued you with so much strength and confidence and something you were lacking. And it's beautiful. And I understand why you have that. I don't want to say territory or territorial
No,
with
you
her,
can say that. You can
but
say that.
why
Yeah.
why you have that territory with her. And it's evident. It's evident in your performance. I'm sorry.
That's really sweet.
Not
Yeah, no,
sweet, it's
I
observant.
okay,
Observant.
sure, I'll give you that. No, you're right. My time on The Gifted was gosh, even though we were such a family and we were such a sort of united bunch. And I love everyone so much. I can't speak for them, but my personal experience was not amazing. I had an abusive home life. I was struggling with what I now know is obsessive compulsive disorder and most likely like some complex PTSD. Um, but when I put those clothes on, I mean, when I so dumb, but when
It's not
I
dumb.
remember I remember the day I got the headpiece and we filmed that. And I literally like looked to my friend Elizabeth, who Elizabeth, LOL. Um,
Olsen. Olsen.
and I was like, I feel like it's my wedding day or like something like important is happening. This feels special. This feels like I don't know. And I think that there's so many times actors are just supposed to like act cool or like get over their characters. Or I'm sure someone out there is probably like, oh, this sad actor never worked again and she's obsessed with this one role she had. But I don't care because she helped me so much in a personal way that no one else could understand. No one will have that experience with Lorna that I had specifically. And again, I've spent years trying not to think about her and just enjoying X-Men and the media, that came out of Marvel as a fan, which I did, fully enjoyed it. But I was in the hospital recently. I have a couple blood clots in my lung, and I had like 4 centimeters of dead lung, and I still do actually, it's healing. But when I was in the emergency room, I those cookies? They're called like, what are they called? They're called like, what are they called? They're called Lorna Doone. Have you seen those shortbread
No, I
cookies?
haven't. Wait, let me Google
Yeah,
it.
they're like these shortbread cookies called Lorna Doone with a Doone. And this lady waiting in the emergency room had a little container of them in her bag. She had like this big old bag. And I saw those and I
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
almost I almost started crying because I just like immediately thought of Polaris, obviously, and it's so hard to like I look for her. And even when I know this is silly because they're cookies, but it just she brings me strength. She does. She brings me strength because even in the fictional world, she always shows strength. Maybe too much strength at times, but she always shows strength. And sometimes I need that for me. So, you know.
Well, I have to tell you, first of all, I can only imagine when Polaris first got her crown in the comics, she probably felt exactly how you did, which is just this sense of power, this strength that's coming in. And I'm telling you, something like that. I want to give Polaris all the credit in the world as a character that she's due, but I also acknowledge that strength comes from within of a
Oh,
person and a situation. And so, yes, you felt that when you got the crown for Polaris, but a lot of the strength was also emanating from you. A character doesn't give you that. It may inspire it, it may be emblematic of it, but it always starts and radiates within the person. So,
that's so sweet. Thank you.
well,
And to answer the House of M question,
to go
um,
back to House of M.
um, I actually heard a rumor a while ago that Lizzie was interested in doing a House of M series, from someone who knows her reps. And so, yeah, I would love to do that. Like, what?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, call me.
Elizabeth, call,
Elizabeth, call me,
please.
please.
Call me,
Just kidding.
please.
She doesn't know me.
Wait, have you ever met her? Wait, did you answer that question already? Did you?
No, I've never met her.
No.
I've never had the honor.
Have you met Evan Peters?
No. Who?
Who? Your brother. What about any of the Magnetos? Ian McKellen and
Mm-mm.
Michael Fassbender. Oh my God.
Nope, never.
I feel like Ian McKellen would love you. Just
Do you think
sidebar.
so?
Oh my
Really?
God,
Are you guys
yeah.
close?
No, I just know him from
I don't know who knows who anymore. What?
Girl, I would like bring him on the Zoom right now. I'd be like House of M reunion right now. No, but here's the thing that I've been following Ian McKellen's I've been following Ian McKellen's career since I was a kid. He's such a large advocate for voice.
Yeah.
You know what
Yes,
I
I do
mean?
know
Like
that. Yes,
he
absolutely.
I'll never forget when I was a little Paul Dayspring, for those of you on the podcast. He had a quote about like, how do we get acceptance? You start marching and throwing bricks. And it was one of those things that I was probably 14 and I had no
Hmm.
concept of gender revolution or queer
Hmm.
theory or anything or political ideology. And
Yeah,
I
because
just
you're a
thought,
child.
there was a child. My brain wasn't fucking done baking, but I just remember thinking, why would you throw a brick to sort of get some answers? But I understand now that power of revolution, the power of making a mark in history and creating change going forward. So, with having someone, knowing someone like you and your voice, knowing for the last like 40 minutes, but understanding the kind of like, yeah, he would totally be so happy. He would be proud to be like, that's my fictional daughter, right? That's my
Aw,
fictional
that's so
daughter
sweet.
in her
That's so
crowd.
sweet of you to say. Or he would be like, she's crazy. She's like out of her mind. She won't stop posting Instagram videos about social issues.
Oh my God. But okay, wait. But by the way, circling back though, I'm sorry. Like I'm obsessed with your voice and everything you stand for. I love that even recently with the Easter holiday, you posted asking about both sides, about religion. And that's something, again, you achieve answers. It's not about creating a divide, but creating bridges and trying to understand an argument. And that's something you just have such a good, profound grasp on.
Oh gosh, thank you. That's really sweet. Yeah, I think I recently came to the conclusion that like Magneto was wrong and that we really can change the world by just like you said talking, just
Yeah.
putting it out there and being compassionate towards the others and their experiences. Um, one thing that's a hot topic is like people believing, I'm going to say it, white people, I can say it because I'm white people not acknowledging like systemic racism. And it's funny because like that's the point. You're not
Yeah.
acknowledging it, and that's the point because it's so deep rooted in you and the system. So you saying it doesn't exist is proving that it does exist. And I feel if we could just sit down individually with people and share our experiences, they might see different points of view. Even myself, I'm learning all the time. I'm a younger person. We both are, and we're just here learning and doing our best. And really, what people forget is the reason we are here doing our best is literally for the children,
Yeah.
like literally for the kids. They are the future. And I went through sort of a internal struggle recently about having children, biological children. And, I've made some really shocking statements online that people are not about. I've had friends, coworkers unfollow me and because I have repeatedly said that having biological children at this time is selfish. And even when you explain something like point by point like that, the statement is harsh, right? Right? If I told a parent that, they'd be like, "Oh my gosh, what are you talking about? I love my babies." But the fact is, anything that starts with an "I want" statement, I want children, I want a family, that's selfish. But selfishness isn't innately a bad thing. So that's what I mean when I say we really have to break down these things in like conversation. We have to like really take steps to understand, and I would ask someone who had biological kids, like, what stopped you from, participating in the foster care system?
Yeah.
Why was it that you wanted a child that looked like you, um, or acted like you, or shared your DNA? I want us to start thinking for ourselves because the thing that separates like sapiens from bears, dolphins, whatever, is that we have that intellect. We have like cognitive thinking. We have empathy. So why aren't we using it? You know?
Have you read The Dialect of Sex by Firestone?
No, but it sounds great.
Okay, you have to read it. A. B.
Okay, let me write it down.
A lot of it. I'll send it to you. Girl, I'll slide
Okay.
into your DMs again and send it to you.
Okay, perfect.
But here's the thing. It encompasses everything you just said, which is so Firestone was one of the leading voices in radical feminism. And in The Dialect of Sex, she talks about sort of the deep-rooted causes with oppression, specifically gender and sex oppression. And it's rooted in the language, but it's not just the words we use. It's the symbolism behind the
Hmm.
words. So in order to
Yes.
tackle true oppression, to think about equality from that perspective, you have to dismantle language,
That's
not
right.
only on the surface, but the symbolism behind the language. So I say hello to you. If I said hello to someone who doesn't understand what the word hello is, it's insignificance. But
Yeah,
it's the symbolism, the consonants behind hello, that the symbolic behind hello that actually
absolutely.
makes it what it is.
Absolutely.
And then
Yes.
she also talks about children and how children are created and how
Hmm.
inherently that creates a system
Hmm.
for sex and gender oppression. Now, whether, and again, Familia, wherever you fall on the spectrum, that's okay. We can have a conversation about it. But her way of sort of solving that conversation was looking at children from a community standpoint. Which children are
Absolutely.
displaced? How do we come together as a community and raise children? And it's so fascinating to me that you have those same ideas already. They're part of this conversation. When at the time that I was reading her, it was it was not part of the conversation, and now it is.
Hmm.
It's okay to have this conversation. Maybe that's not the right
Absolutely.
answer. Maybe it is an uncomfortable conversation to have, but that's
Hmm.
okay. Let's have that uncomfortable
Let's have it.
conversation
Let's have
because
it.
we
Yep.
have that intellectual capacity for us to sort of go out on the spectrum. Sorry, I'm geeking out when I'm talking.
No, you're
Uh,
100% correct, and I appreciate. I'm definitely gonna read it. And for what it's worth, I think community is the answer. We
yeah.
are a tribal species, so the fact that we've all been like tucked into our little apartments on our little phones, on our little computers, and told that like the internet is the end all be all for communication and connection. And it is an amazing tool if it's used correctly, but we need to go out there for the children. Literally, I have now my friends who are my age are having kids. They have kids, and there's no community. No resources, no help. They're at their wits' end. Nobody told them how hard it was going to be to raise kids. They all told them, what a miracle, how exciting for you. And now they're depressed, they're struggling with lots of different things. Um, and they feel, especially women, I've noticed, feel that they must suffer in silence because they are the matriarchs of these families. And, community is important.
Well,
And
well, here's the thing. This is the one thing. I'm sorry, I'm just opening up the
where
door
are
for
you
my
going? Are you
husband.
going on an adventure? Oh my
I'm
gosh,
going.
where are we
I had
going?
to let my husband in. I locked him out.
Oh,
We have stairs now, so
on
I have to go through
purpose?
stairs on purpose. No, and just because
You're like, stay away.
I'm like, stay away. Sorry. Um. Well, here's the thing. The thing about like, there's never an honest conversation when it comes to
Never.
kids or anything like that. And I see it now. I'm always so baffled. I have a friend. And like,
You have friends
we
besides me?
I have friends besides you, but I have friends that like even in today's world where we have conversations like this, it is a privileged conversation. And
Absolutely.
and I have friends here, like my best friend growing up, who's a smart girl. We're talking, she graduated honors, everything. She looks at me and she goes, Paul, having a kid, I felt really bad afterwards. And I was like, that's fine. That's postpartum. Like
Dude, yes, let's
it,
talk
for
about
for
it.
me, again, an identifying male can say, of course, like gay male, like of course, girl, of course. But no one ever told her
Told
that
her.
that was okay. You know what I mean? And it
Hmm.
breaks my heart that she suffered so much for like months, maybe years, thinking that she was a
Yeah.
bad mom because she was
Yes.
feeling a certain way. It's like, no,
Yes.
that is fine.
Oh my gosh.
You
It's
know?
totally fine. It's completely natural. And it happens to like a really large percentage of people who have kids. Like it's a real thing. I'm so grateful that your friend has you to like remind her of that it's okay.
Oh my God. I was like, let's go get a martini queen.
Wait, do you drink martinis? Tell me
I
your
love
martini
martini.
order.
Well, so I love a dirty martini.
Uh,
Because I miss
Obviously.
well, because I miss New York so much recently.
Mm.
I've been a cliche and I've been ordering Cosmos.
Oh, of
So
course. Why not?
why
It's
not? Like my
it's
inner
juice.
sergeant, my inner SJP. But shout out to Botanico and Coconut Grove because I was just with them earlier and they gave me oh God, I think it was a kelp martini. And
Do you say
they
kelp?
kelp, kelp,
Like the
KELP.
I don't know what that sounds like some white shit. I
I
don't know.
don't know what it was, but they
That
were
sounds like some crazy rich people Gwyneth Paltrow shit.
shut the
Kelp?
fuck up. Yes, it is a good Balto Martini. No, 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 not officially Gwen Paltrow,
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, stop.
No,
Did I
no,
guess that?
no, no, no. It is like a kelp thing, but they've been so kind to me because I was editing an episode of the podcast and I get very stressed when I do, and they gave
Oh,
me, and I told them I was going to be talking to them, so they
that's
were
so
very sweet to me.
sweetie.
So shout out to Botanica. But wait,
Oh, so you're hammered now? Great.
no, I only had like a drink and a half,
I'm
but
kidding. A half. Okay. No, just
um,
joking.
wait. So we have a question here though that you were a ballerina. And how does your training as a ballerina translate into skills in your everyday life? So let me unpack that question. Was there anything from that you learned as a ballerina that you've been able to bring to your everyday life in terms of confidence, maybe in other modes?
Disordered eating.
Oh, I'm sorry. I suffer from an eating disorder as well, so I'm so
You really,
sorry.
oh gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Um,
I've written about male
uh,
anorexia in the past.
I, something we need to talk about,
Oh
something that
yeah,
is never spoken about, is
never.
like how prevalent disordered eating is amongst men. And I'm sorry, why aren't we talking about this? They are suffering. There's our boys suffering right this moment, and nobody's asking them if they're okay. What?
So it's so
Anyway.
funny. So I've been shopping around my memoir for I love how this is now about me. But I wrote my dad suffers from anorexia as well.
Oh
And
gosh.
I subsequently learned about masculinity from him, this
Hmm.
idea of how does a man govern his family. And for me, it
Yeah.
was always him sitting at the head of a table not eating.
Oh gosh.
And
Yeah.
so that's how I sort of deal with like my anxiety and stuff like that. And no one ever talks about male anorexia. In fact, what really irks me, I read this one interview. They weren't being insulting, they were just being matter of fact that a lot of
Sure.
people regulate anorexia to 14-year-old girls. And it's like, no, anorexia is genderless and don't ever diminish them. Even a 14-year-old girl suffering from anorexia is
Yeah.
terrible.
What?
Why would you
Yeah.
say something like that? And it has the highest mortality rate of any mental disease out there.
Yeah. That it's so sad to hear about your father. I'm just thinking now, if I were in that position, I absolutely would ask either of you, hey, are you doing okay? And that's the thing. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to ask the tough questions. I'd rather have my friend be mad at me and be like, why are you asking if I'm okay? I'd rather have that than miss an opportunity to step in if something was really wrong. You know, if you see someone struggling, please step in. Like,
Yeah,
please, all of you,
Amelia,
anyone,
please.
please step in. Just say something. And especially, I'm going to say, especially if it's a man, because they are not given any soft, safe spaces to express anything. And they've been treated like, you know, a trophy. We all know the term trophy wife, but really men, I think, so often are treated as their use is only physical and money making. And we kind of need to move past that. It's really damaging.
But Emma, are you okay?
I am okay. You're so sweet. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay. We'll
You
talk
know,
after.
we'll talk after. But you have post about body image issues on and thank you for that. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
really? Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh no.
I'll send you articles and you can say thank you later.
Okay,
But
perfect.
but I think especially when we just asked you now about, ballerina and eating disorders are very dominant in that field.
Hmm.
I'm sorry
Yeah,
you
and
have to go
every
through something like that.
no, don't be at all. It's I'm super healthy now. I could not be more grateful. But yeah, I was actually put in the three most three quote unquote activities, I guess, where like eating is like probably pretty heavily prominent. I was in modeling as a teenager,
Oh,
and then
modeling. Okay.
and ballet, and then acting, of course. And I can't deny that in every situation, it is hard to be the biggest person in the room. And I said person, not woman, because I am often taller than my male co-stars. Um, and by being taller, I'm also bigger because I'm of a different scale. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it really did affect me. And I had influences in my home life that were not healthy. Um, but yeah, I don't know why we're allowing it. We're allowing the conditioning of young people. Like, I think these things should be illegal. Like, I personally, I think that like if you're it's an advert, if you're advertising something or trying to make money, it should be illegal to like use like heavily Photoshop like bodies. I think it's really screwed up that we've allowed it for so long. And it seems like an obvious to me. Like I say, like I like to use the example how they don't like put colors on cigarette packages. Like, you know how they're very strict and like the vaping epidemic and all that. And they're like, no more colors. We don't want kids to think nicotine is cool. Well, why don't we care about grown adults? Why is every man like a crazy V shape with these big muscles? Why is every woman this like hourglass with like teeny tiny features? Um, Especially if it's not real. If you look like that naturally, wonderful, good for you. I can't say if it's good or bad because I don't put value on people's bodies. But if it's advertising, that's kind of just brainwashing us all. Anyway, should be illegal. Biden, call me.
Hashtag Biden call her. Well, it's so funny. Tina Fey said that in her memoir or her collection of essays, Bossy Pants, where she was here like, listen, stuff like that shouldn't be okay. If we as a society agreed that we knew that this was all fake and these are just images, then fine, whatever. But it's
Hmm.
speaking to a youth and it's creating a stigma that's just damaging.
It so is. Speaking of Tina Fey, can we talk about racism in comedy?
Yes, please.
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding at all.
I'm
There's some not cool stuff. Like there's definitely some like Asian American hate in some of those projects. Not a fan personally, but
no. Well, it's
Tina
so
Fey,
fun.
call me.
Tina Fey, call Emma. No, listen, my friend Kyle, who I just referenced earlier in this episode, she's Asian American and she just wrote her first book about being a nanny in Tribeca and all of the cool casual racism that happens because it's okay, it's just an Asian girl. It's you can say things like they don't know how to dress.
No,
No, it's not okay.
no,
It's not
it's
okay.
not okay.
Objectification, making jokes
Yep.
at their expenses. It is absolutely not okay.
And what I understand from my friends who are generation American, first generation Asian American, um, it starts young. It
Oh yeah.
starts like in the schools. I mean, and we know what that means. I'm not saying kids are naturally bullies. I'm saying that they probably have stuff going on at home that isn't appropriate, you know? But like, yeah, and first I grew up in Seattle. We have a really large Asian American population there. And go moving out of Seattle was really shocking to me to see how much like Asian hate there is and still is. And of course the COVID of it all, like, ooh, what are we doing? Knock it off. Knock it
Oh my
off.
God. Well, especially in the city when we left, there were Asian American women who were being stalked,
Oh my
who were being followed back to their apartment, who were being pushed on subway platforms, who were being assaulted in their
God.
hallways.
Mhm.
It's a conversation that people need to have more of.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it boils down to don't be fucking hateful out there. That's it. And just
Period.
exercise common sense. If you
Mhm.
hear an unfair stereotype, you shouldn't say that. And also, don't have hate towards your fellow human because we're all humans here trying to exist. And it
Totally.
just breaks my heart.
It's funny you say common sense, though. I recently learned in school that there's no such thing as common sense. And like, for example, I think there are maybe quite a few people in this country who would probably think to themselves, oh my gosh, I would never confess to a murder I didn't do. But how many false confessions have there been in our history? You know what I mean? So it's sort of like you and I would love to think that everyone thought like us logically. But
Yeah.
the truth is, there are a lot of, especially Americans, because our needs are absolutely not met in this country. There are a lot of Americans who have a very large amount of unhealed trauma, and therefore they literally can't switch their brains over to think in that logical way because they've been so hurt and traumatized. And again, back to the talking about it. I think that's the healing that can happen if we just have the conversations. Like I would love to sit down with, someone who was a double Trump voter and ask them, why did you feel that he could meet your needs as a citizen and that someone else couldn't? Let's have the hard conversations.
I love that. But first of all, one, like I to give us a little bit more credit. I think you and I would say something and we would be like, oh, okay, that was wrong. Let's have a conversation
Absolutely.
about it. I don't think many people
Absolutely.
can. You know what I mean? So A, but B,
It's
what
hard. It's hard. Yeah.
it's hard. You have to separate ego. You have to separate ego from your
It's,
experience. And that's, listen, I love being an idiot. I always say, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm
me
wrong
too.
90% of my
I
life.
love it.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty
Same.
sure I was like a stop sign, someone else went before me and I gave them the finger. And I was like, oh, wait, maybe I was the one who jumped the gun there. So,
I love it.
you know, but two, why? The why behind it. When someone
The
says,
why.
here's the thing, and again, Familia, this is just my opinion. We're having a conversation here. When I hear someone voted for Trump, my knee-jerk reaction isn't to be angry. My knee-jerk
Hmm.
reaction is to be, why did you vote for Trump?
Why?
Why?
Yes.
Because here's the thing. If you want to solve a future problem where we don't have someone like Trump come into office, you have to understand the other side. You have to understand why those people are behaving the way they do. You need to understand that very difficult conversation. And by the way, I think it stems to exactly what you just said: unhealed trauma, unhealed uh, being able to rationalize the world and their life
Hmm.
experiences. It's,
Hmm.
my dad, for example, voted for Trump twice. My dad comes from Cuba. He's traumatized by the idea of communism, by the idea of so
Yep.
much political turmoil that he
Hmm.
gravitates more towards a conservative conversation. I don't agree
And
with
that
it.
makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. I don't agree with it, but I understand where he's coming from with that. Dad,
Totally.
let's dispel what happened in Cuba during the 50s and 60s versus what's happening in America today, and why someone like Obama, you know, is not this crazy communist who's going to rob you of everything. Let's have a real, but they need
Totally.
we need to have those kinds of conversations.
100%. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. I I'm disappointed in politicians. I didn't really know politicians was like a real thing until recently. I just realized that like anyone can do it. You can just choose to do it. Usually it's the rich, but like the reason I didn't think it was a thing anyone could do is because I didn't grow up with I well, I white privilege, yes, but not like this the wealth privilege that so many of those politicians do. And um I don't know. Look, I've messaged Bernie many times on social media. I've never heard back. I just like, why aren't they out here talking to people? Why is it spending millions of dollars for these like campaigns when they're not actually listening to us, the
Yeah.
citizens? It's everyone. It's all of them on every side. Um, I don't like the job politician. And I think if you are a politician, that it's very easy to be conditioned within that group to believe certain things or think you are better or think you deserve wealth or something. I don't know.
Can I ask a really off script question? How do
Yeah.
how do you think you can flip the idea of politician based
How do
off
I think
of
I
some
can
of the,
flip what?
the idea of what it means to be a politician?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I'm gonna pretend like I have all the answers right now. No,
It's okay if you don't.
no,
That's the
exactly.
that's the beauty of being
That's
human.
It totally is. Like we can have these conversations, and the funny thing is, like, I don't like, I don't care. Cancel me, say whatever you want. I'll admit I'm wrong. I'll apologize, and then I can learn and move on. If anything, being wrong helps me grow as a human. I'm desperate to be wrong. Please say I'm wrong. You know what I
I
mean?
say it all the time too.
Do you
I'm
really?
so obsessed with you right now.
I love
Yes.
it. Why
I
are we
always
twins?
stop it. I don't think I have your complexion. Well, I do after I see my dermatologist on Thursday. But no, here's the thing, it's okay to be wrong.
Absolutely,
You need to
absolutely.
grow. You need to clear the rut in order to grow. But
Hmm.
anyways, because you've talked about politics and some ambition
Yes, yes.
publicly, let's hear
Okay.
it.
So I'm doing something crazy. I'm doing something absolutely out of my mind insane. I have decided to start a campaign. I hate that word. I don't know what to call it. What's another word besides campaign?
Initiative.
An initiative. Oh, you're so good. Oh,
Stop it.
you're
I was
great.
an
You're such a
English
linguist.
major.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I literally just said you're a linguist. That's so funny.
Stop it.
So yeah, an initiative to run for president in 2032. because I am tired of seeing, and it's on both sides, rich people in fancy suits standing on stages that cost millions, if not $1 billion, Biden, and telling me that they have my interest at heart. And you know what? I'm going to say this, especially this last week. I have been shown that anything is possible in the United States, not America. We need to stop calling the United States America because you're negating the huge other parts of the Americas. But anything is possible. You can be a president and be an actor. You can be an actor and be a criminal. You can be a criminal and be a president. Anything is possible in the United States. So heck, I'm running for president, not as a politician. I'm running just as like a human who is trying to train for the job. And I'm not going to go to school for poli sci because I think college degrees are elitist. And I think it's really, really screwed up that in a country where a college education is like $200,000 and above, even at a state school, it's like very expensive, tens of thousands, to tell someone that they need a piece of paper to pursue something. Horrendous. We need to go back to like mentorships. We need to go back to like trades. And the scam, the corporation of like education needs to knock it off. We are so screwed up in this country.
Listen, I don't disagree with you at all, but one of the things I am grateful is that there are individuals with the courage and voice that you have. You know what I mean? Like, and that,
Well, thank you.
no, it's real life superheroes. You weren't, listen, I get it. You auditioned for a role, they gave you a superhero, but that superhero, a version of her, of them was already inside of you.
That's
So
really sweet. That's
that's why
so
we're
sweet.
seeing.
That like gives me so much confidence. Thank you for saying that. Oh my
Stop it. Emma Dumont, stop.
gosh. You stop it. Paul
Okay,
Flores, you stop it.
Polaris, stop it. Okay, here's one question that we did get. It's on the topic of politics. Is one
Okay,
question that we
tell
got in
me.
from my husband.
Ooh.
Shout out to Jeff, who says, "What's one political issue you wish most folks were more active
Oh wow. There are so many.
in?"
There
You're
are
like, you're like, girl, do you have the next 2 hours? Let's
Yeah,
go
right.
through
Like, let me
it.
tell you my list. I think honestly, right now, the most important thing on our hands right now. I mean, there are a million things I want to do. Like, I would like everyone to have mental health care and physical health care, and no more unhoused people because we have the physical empty buildings just sitting around this country. But the most important thing right now is stopping the active shootings straight
Oh my
up,
God.
stopping this purely American, like our what we're known for in the world now is being obese and having monopolies like corporations, and now for killing children and innocent people. It's got to end. It has to end. I don't know the answer. I'm not going to say I have the perfect answer right now, but over the next 9 years, I'm going to figure it out. It's got to end. It's breaking our hearts. It's killing our children.
And in Kentucky today at the
Yeah.
bank, it's
Oh
just
my gosh.
it's so and by the way, it's so funny because I was at my dad's firm today and it's a bunch of old Cuban conservatives and one of them walked in. I was like, "Hey, how are you doing?" He goes, "Well, there was another shooting in this country." And he just stopped me and looked at me. He's like, "How do you think I feel going into an office now?" And we're talking,
Yeah.
this is old Cuban conservative man
Yeah.
who's like, "I've had it
I've
with
had
these,"
it.
and
Yeah.
he's probably pro-gun, by the way. He probably
Probably.
believes in the right to bear arms.
Yeah, of
And
course.
even he is like, "This nonsense has to, we need to
It
find a
has to
place for
stop.
it."
We need to. Absolutely.
And that
And
is
I
where the answer is
yes, in those
in those
conversations, in the
conversations.
why. Yes, in
Why?
all of this. We are desperate. That's the thing. We need to stop listening to the people above us, the people in the
Yeah.
suits. They don't have our best interests. They are
Yeah.
brainwashing us. And that's on both sides. I've noticed, I'm a former liberal. Now I don't belong to any party. Um, but I've noticed that Democrats will scream and rant for things that matter to them, but they won't scream and rant for everything, and also is screaming the way to get where we want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, we already know if you're liberal there, you already know, the conversations with conservatives is hard. But I want to ask, my friends, what are you doing to help? Are you Are you checking, are you self-regulating your emotions? Because the truth is these people, look, if again, I just, there are people out there who genuinely believe that Donald Trump won the election. They genuinely think that. Um, that to me screams mental health crisis. It's a little bit sounds like a delusion, and I'm not trying to like armchair diagnose anyone, and that's so not my place to do it. I'm just talking in general. I would never point out anyone specific, but that really is scary. And instead of screaming at them, we need to like get them into a psychiatrist's office.
100,
Honestly, and I don't
100.
mean that, and like, because what would you if somebody had cancer, you'd take them to the doctor.
Yeah.
And it's so clearly that they are having like breaks with reality. I need to take them to the doctor, you know?
One of our folks, I think
Yes.
this is a good bookend for what you just said. I want to say their name correctly. Lean Cowie said, Emma, thank you. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too.
I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name, Lean Cowie.
I think you
Sorry.
you give it a good shot.
I gave it a
That's
good
all you can
shot.
do.
I'm sorry, but thank you for
Remember when
engaging
I
me.
pronounced Pietro like a crazy person? Like, we're just trying our best.
You said it accurately. Stop it.
No.
Listen, if Polaris says it's like that, that's how we
As
pronounce
if she knows, as if they're like super close. No.
it. Oh, wait, on the subject of X-Men, though,
Oh yeah,
when growing up, so you grew up in the Pacific Northwest.
I did.
When did you first hear about X-Men? Was it the X-Men cartoon, the
Cartoons,
comic book?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I think we all understand that that was a gift to man. You know what I mean? Like, what a sick series. Who was it? Somebody on set used to always sing the song. Who was it?
No, no, no,
I
no.
can't think of it. Yes.
Sorry,
Somebody
I
used to
have no
sing
musical key.
it.
Even though I'm an auctioneer, I have no musical key whatsoever.
You're an auctioneer?
Yeah, I'm a benefit auctioneer. That's why I love talking about causes and advocacy.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing. Wait, that's amazing. But also, why do wealthy people have things to auction off?
Mm.
Why are they
Well,
hoarding wealth?
so a lot of it too, by the way, that I love about the kind of benefits we do. So we do St. Jude's, the Arthritis Foundation,
Oh,
etc.
wow, amazing.
Um, fully donated items from
That's,
local organizations. So
I love that.
oftentimes we find that it's like a yoga studio who's like, we don't have much to give, but we'll give a free yoga class and we'll pair it with a bottle of wine. It's
Yeah.
really,
Oh gosh, that's amazing.
and
Okay, so you're just surrounded by amazing people. I
well,
love
I
that.
mean, present
Oh,
company included,
oh gosh,
obviously. See how I always
no.
turn it back? Yeah.
You really do. You know what that
Mm,
tells me about you? It
mm.
tells me that you are very, very, very humble and empathetic, and also that maybe you've seen some trauma in your life.
Yes, thank you.
Sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
no,
I'm a
no,
psych
no, no.
major. I can't help it.
Thank you for being you.
Thank you.
So who was it on set? Who was it on set?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Look at me
But yeah,
deflecting there. I'm like, who was it on
I
set? Just stop it. You're gonna make me
don't.
cry. Emma,
No, no, no.
I have a reputation.
Yes, for being a hard ass.
But no, for being fun. I mean, like,
You are
yes.
fun.
Well, okay.
Didn't you hear the martini story or the Cosmo story? Whatever the kelp. Oh yeah, the Gwyneth Paltrow kelp.
Wait, sidebar. Did you get the demand of martini email? Did you get the photo I just sent you?
What? Oh my God. Oh my
Check your
gosh, let me
email. Check your
look.
email.
Oh my gosh, let me look right now. I'm so grateful for two monitors.
Wait,
Um,
Demanda Martini. This is our plug. Demanda Martini. We are getting a reaction from Polaris herself. She's gonna go crazy
okay,
seeing
I am
this.
gonna go crazy. I'm so excited.
Let me know if you didn't get it. I'll resend it.
I can't even get into my email account for wait, can I please get into my email account? Oh my gosh, I have to log in. One, give me 2 seconds. This is
Rude, don't worry.
ridiculous.
We'll edit this part out. Don't
Or
worry.
don't, because this is hilarious. No, I'm
I
just
love it. I love you so much. Thank you for just being you.
thank you for being you. Gosh, this is such a comfortable space. I'm gonna be honest. I had a hard time doing podcasts for a long time. Like I turned down a bunch of podcasts and I just like didn't want to do it because of like my fears, my OCD. Like I just am so was so scared of hurting someone or saying the wrong thing. I wasn't even scared of being canceled because I've been canceled before. I was just scared of like genuinely hurting somebody by like saying something wrong or saying something offensive. But like we said before, like I now have no fear in being wrong because I know that if I hurt someone's feelings, that I can speak to them and I can try to mend that hurt that I caused, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And let me be very clear. This is a safe space. No one's going to slide
Thank
into your
you.
DMs. Like the
I mean,
community, well,
maybe.
I mean, maybe. Listen, there's always a troll or two out there. But oh, yeah, wait. Let's take it from the top because Amanda's going to love this. Did you get it? Did you get the email? Amanda Martini.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. Oh,
She look iconic?
I don't think I've ever been speechless at a cosplay. This is unbelievable.
She
Oh my
looks so good.
gosh.
And she actually did those little like floral, the red floral. She actually hand painted all of that.
Really? Those are gorgeous. Oh my gosh, I'm so obsessed. The detailing, the necklace. It's all the helmet, obviously. I am scared. I'm like, Annie, run.
That's right,
Annie,
Nurse Annie.
Alex, get out of here. Yeah, Nurse Annie, run. Run for your life. Oh my gosh, so amazing. I could not be more impressed. Whoa. Ah,
Oh my
that's
God.
so cool.
Amanda
I'm
Martini, we love you so
we love
much.
you so, so much. Also, are we going out for cocktails?
Yes.
Uh, that's so
Oh.
cool.
Wait, speaking of Alex, so you have a photo that broke the internet a couple years ago of you and Lucas
I don't think I
Till. You and
oh
Lucas
oh
Till.
Havoc, yeah,
How was it meeting Havoc, Polaris and Havoc? What's the story behind this photo? How did you do you are you guys friends from the
There's no
same?
story. I wish there was a cool story. No, I think Lucas and Blair, who played Thunderbird, they're like buddies, and so I think that was, I don't know. We always used to try to go to a house on the lake for like Labor Day or whatever, and I think that was during one of those trips. Um, he's cool, awesome, loved him in the films. Yeah. I wish I had like some cool, fun story to tell. I'm so sorry.
No, why would you apologize? Everyone loves
No,
us. You see,
yeah.
when people post like photos of Alex and like Lorna in comparison, they always use that photo. That
Oh,
photo
do
is
they
always there.
really? Oh gosh,
Yeah.
that's so funny.
Yeah.
Because we're like not in costume, we're just like normal people. Like it's not at all.
But it's a power to, it's funny. I was talking about this with my psych. Shout out to Mr. Kyle Thomas about the power of myth and
Did you
and
say
the
you're a psychic or a psychiatrist?
no, my psychic.
Oh my gosh, it could have been either. I would same difference, but go ahead, tell me.
Kyle, and it's a power of myth in society. That's what it is.
Oh, the
It's so
power of
myth,
myth.
myth, myth. Yeah,
It's heavily it's very important to the human experience to have mythology.
and seeing someone like having IRL together. No, it's so funny. Even saying like the statement out loud, there's an element of absurdity, but also like acknowledging that power that it brings to so many people. And also, you know what? Here's the thing. This is what my boss says all the time when he's here. Like, you always have to arrive to an event in good, in pristine outfits because it does
Hmm.
make other people feel good. So when you have a photo
Um,
like IRL Popo and IRL Havoc meeting, it makes people happy to see those characters because those
oh,
characters mean so much to people. And you mean
that's
so
so
much to people.
sweet.
And
Oh my
and Lucas's
gosh.
Alex means
Well,
so
for
much to
people
people.
who want to know, Lucas is a sweetie, and I hope I'm a sweetie. So I hope
You
that
are.
that is a good thing to know. I don't know.
Emma, can I ask you a
Yes.
lightning round of some questions we
Yes,
got from folks? Okay.
I'm
Okay. Okay.
ready.
Okay. Okay. Wait. Queen of Magnets wants to know what's your favorite Polaris look
In the comics,
in the comics or on the show? They weren't specific.
oh, that's tough. I'm gonna say like 70s X Factor, curly hair.
Oh,
Uh,
yes.
without the one without the cutouts, like the traditional. Yeah, you know what I mean. With the
Oh
yellow,
my.
I think. Yeah, yeah,
Oh my gosh, she looks so iconic there. And then the
yeah.
action figure. Do you have any of the Marvel Legends figures or any of the action figures of her?
You're joking, right?
I don't know if you're
I have all of
joking.
them. I think I own every single action figure and or toy that has been made of Polaris.
Love that so
Not
much.
me being her number one fan. Look, if there was anyone who would be grateful to have the job of playing her, it would be her number one fan. So I'm happy it was me.
Captain to Michael wants to know, and we love you, Captain to Michael. Thank you so much for always engaging in this community. Do you miss your green hair?
I never had green hair. It was a wig. It was actually like
Was it wig?
14, it was 14 different wigs and hair pieces. Our hair designer, Charles, went through painstaking, uh, tedious work trying to get every single green perfectly the same kind of green. And because green's like a really hard color with for if you're a colorist, if anyone's a colorist out there. I of course miss it every day. I actually was thinking of I was thinking of putting green strips in my hair, and I was like, is that sad? Or should I
No,
do it?
not at all. It's empowering.
Why
Like,
not? I don't care anymore. People can judge me. I just want to live my
YOLO,
life.
Queen, YOLO, YOLO.
So yes, I do
Uh,
miss it. Yes.
Mini It wants to know character decisions that really resonated with you during the Gifted.
Character decisions. Well, I hated season two. So I don't know if that resonated with me, but it definitely made me pissed.
Remind me why didn't you like season two?
I didn't like it because Lorna went from a very strong character to a very weak character only because she had a baby.
Mhm.
And here's the thing. I thought, which is funny because we were talking about it earlier, I thought there was going to be some wonderful plot about mental health, maybe postpartum. Nope, never addressed. Didn't matter.
Yeah.
They like I walked onto set and there was like this frilly bedspread in her room, and I'm just like, who is this? I don't know who this is anymore. You guys have changed the character from last season. I don't know who she is. I'll do my best. So I don't even know if I was good in season two because I didn't know that Lorna. Because my Lorna would have been cooler
Yeah.
or at least would have addressed the issues that are going on. I know we had an ensemble cast and I was very low on the call sheet. I was very unimportant to the plot. I was like the last member of the main cast. Like I was the least lowest build. So I understand that my character wasn't that important, but I would have loved to take that opportunity to feature some important storylines.
No More Mutants wants to know.
Excuse me? First
Nah.
of all, the name. I'm sorry. Do you work for Sentinel Services? Is this like a troll account from Sentinel Services?
Oh my God, Ralph is gonna love that so much. Thank you, A, for that. B, Ralph, No More Mutants wants to know when is she coming to the MCU? I know we
I don't
addressed
think she
that.
is. I don't think she
Um,
is. I'm sorry, friends. I really don't think she is. But I do. I am gonna write. I'm writing my own show.
Good. We
I'm
want
done
you to.
with. Yeah, I'm writing it. I don't care, dude. I'm crazy. I posted this video and I was like, I tagged all my co-stars in it. I was like, I'm doing the show. Call me if you want to be in it. Like, I don't care anymore because I do think there's a need for like a street level like social issues show. And they like an
Yeah.
X-Men show, and I don't know why Disney isn't doing it because like the people want it. I want it just as a fan.
Well, Emma, you know what really baffles me is when I
Tell
talk
me.
to people and they don't see the mutant metaphor, the obvious mutant metaphor
Wait,
that
who
is
doesn't?
some people you'll be shocked at how many people just it evades them. They're like,
Interesting.
why are X-Men to quote, I don't want to throw anyone in our familia under the bus because we welcome all perspectives,
Of
but it
course.
does baffle me when I get a DM and it says, why are X-Men comics so political? I'm like, are we
Are we reading the same
are
thing?
we reading the same thing? Or why do they have to tackle issues like mental health and stuff like that? I'm like,
That's the point.
that
That's the point. Like, it's funny. I always say the X-Men comics specifically, and for X Factor too, they're not for kids.
no.
They're not for kids. These are important issues. And that's disappointing. I hope whoever is thinking that out there, I'm gonna look in the camera. I hope whoever is out there thinking that, kind of wondering why is it so serious? Why are these issues? I hope that you keep enjoying the comics, but I hope eventually that you understand why these issues are important. And maybe you can learn that through the X-Men.
God, that's such a great answer. I love you so much.
Is it? No, I'm an idiot.
You're certainly not an idiot.
Yeah,
We all have room to grow, but idiot, you're not at
that's sweet.
all. Not even close to. Okay. Namor cosplay asks, Who do you picture as your father, Ian McKellen or Michael Fassbender?
Oh, neither. Patton Oswalt, or I won't come back.
There
Period.
we go.
I'm
Cheers.
not even kidding. Someone said it on set. One of my producers was like, who'd be a great Magneto, Patton Oswalt? And I was like, and it's been my dream ever since. I'm a big fan of his.
Well, no, I mean, so I worked at HarperCollins when his late
Okay, brag.
wife's humble brag. Um, oh God, it was about the California State Killer, the Golden State
Um,
Killer.
in the dark, I'll be here in the dark.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
He was phenomenal. Talk about a good
Oh,
human who
really good human.
went to pitch during the sales conference and everything for her. Like it
Amazing.
was on her
Yeah.
behalf. It was a wonder. And then he was oh my God, of course now I'm like blanking. Modoc. He was Modoc in
Oh
the Modoc
yeah.
Hulu
Oh
series.
yeah.
So like, and he was also on United States of Terra, which was all about mental health. Yeah,
Oh
he
wait,
made
I don't remember him on that show. Yeah, with Brie Larson.
yeah,
The connections. The
connection right there.
connections.
Brie
Marvel.
Larson. Well, that's how I first found out about Brie Larson. Right
Oh,
there
so
was
fun.
on that.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. Yeah, yeah. She
yeah,
was great in that.
but he's such a great human being. So I
Yeah.
love that he would
You can
be.
tell. I love people when you can tell that they're good humans from like media or whatever. And he's one of those.
Next question we have is, and I think we touched upon this earlier, but let me give it to our boy Greg, who says, "How do you feel about the mutant metaphor and its constant evolution in society?"
Ooh, it's evolution. Well, to be honest, I think we're all familiar that with like how it started off was it represented like the LGBTQIA2S plus community. Sorry, I always want to make sure I get all of them
No, you got it.
because
I
why not?
always I always say LGBTQIA plus, and you just nailed it the right way. Thank you
Oh my gosh,
again.
thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. We all know that. Well, I guess some people don't realize that yet, but they will if they keep enjoying the comics. But now I think it can be applied to any persecuted group. And I think that's makes it even more relevant and more important. And I think that's why that's why I think I'm so like aggressively mad at Marvel for not giving us new X-Men content. Like Wanda's great, all the new stuff, the multiverse, all of it's super fun and like crazy, whatever. And we all cried during all the Avengers films, of course, sobbed in the theater every time. But I want to see like something that's like tackling issues because media for so long has conditioned us in a bad way, and I'm ready for it to condition us in a positive way.
Yeah, perfect response.
Was it? I don't know.
I would tell you. I would be like, girl, let's take it from the top. No, you're so, Emma, just sidebar. You're so articulate. You have such a wonderful, I've been enjoying this conversation so much. Thank
I've
you.
been in this conversation. I like can't wait to come and hang out. Like, will you hang out with
Summit.
me if I come to Miami? Like, let's
Oh my
like get
God,
dinner or
yeah.
something.
Well, I think I have a hold in LA in a couple weeks, so
Oh,
we'll
beautiful.
circle
Okay, I'll see you
back.
then. Amazing.
Okay, Art of Lucas, who does a lot of the shirts. I'm wearing one of my favorite X-Men, Nate Gray. He does a lot of Polaris as well.
Very cool.
He loves all the advocacy you're doing on social media, and he wants to know how would you pass a free healthcare plan?
How would I pass it? Well, I would.
Sorry, no, that's
This is a lot of. That's a
sorry,
real
there's your
question.
homework question right
Yeah,
there. I know.
yeah,
I'm
no, that's
like,
great.
tell us about the mutant metaphor and Polaris, and now it's like, tell us about how you would pass
Tell her to help
healthcare.
you.
Tell us
Um,
now.
here's my opinion. I'm just gonna say this about, and this is, I think this goes for anything, any need the public needs right now. We are the people. We have the power. I don't think the checks and balances aren't working right now, and before we can make big sweeping moves like healthcare, I think what we need to do is make a general rule or I don't know law, whatever you want to call it, that if you show inhumane or inhuman thoughts, feelings, or activities, that you immediately be removed as a public servant. Because people forget every single person in government, from your local police officer to the president to all the judges, they are public servants. That is not a self-serving job. If you piss in someone's chair, if you like have a fit, if you're accused of a crime or of pedophilia, you need to be removed. How is this a question? And the American people feel so helpless, and all we can do is watch on our TikTok, watch on the news. But if you show inhumane or inhuman, and when I say inhuman, I mean something outside what I consider a healthy human activity, whether it be bigotry or like wanting harm to come to others, whatever, or you're taking away bodily autonomy, like any of these things, they're a clear indication of a mental health struggle. These people need to be removed. They need to be given, mental health care. I'll say this. So Delta, the airline company, they have amazing benefits. This is like a little, I don't know, metaphor or something. I don't know, simile maybe. And if you are struggling with addiction or, excuse me, substance use disorder, they will pay for your treatment and then they will welcome you back to work. We need to put that policy in for the public servants. If you're showing inhuman thoughts, mental health care. And if you get retrained and show that you can come back, then you can come back. But if you can't, it's a permanent. You need never be a public servant again in any capacity. And only then can we address healthcare, the wage gap, brutality, police brutality. Only then can we address all the real issues.
I
Does that make
don't.
sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I don't understand when we have to exile people for having flaws, for having substance abuse or
Yeah.
having a very difficult moment. Rehabilitate. Let's do our best to get our people back where they need to be. And once they show it and they want to be part, it's okay. It's okay to fall.
It
And it's
is.
okay. Not only is it okay to fall, but we will pick you up and we will
We will.
welcome you back to the circle, you
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
And I find that there's so many people who are afraid to admit flaw because we've all seen this firsthand. I don't want to admit it because I'm wrong. People are going to exile me. What will people think of me? And it's
Yes.
so heartbreaking because you want to be like, no, we're not going to think anything bad about you because we've been there. In some way, shape, or form, we all fall, you know?
Totally. We all do. Like I always say like we've always all of us have picked our nose at some point, even as a kid, even with the tissue that counts too, and we've all tried pot in college.
Ah,
You know what I mean? Like we've all
yeah.
done silly things. We've all dinged our car when pulling out of a parking lot. We've all done things that make us feel bad. We've all hurt a friend, hurt a family member, and that's okay. That's what
We've
makes
all
us
not been
human.
our best,
We've all not been our best.
and that's
We've all
okay.
not been our best, and that's
We,
okay.
the spectrum of humanity, when you think of what it means for us to be human, it encompasses some of the lesser desirable traits. And it's so
Yeah.
funny. Have you read Wild by Cheryl Strayed?
I love that you think I read. No, I'm kidding. I do read. I love reading. I have not read that though.
Okay, I'm gonna send you like an Amazon package,
Please
like
do.
so
I
it's
cannot wait.
awful. But Cheryl Strayed in it, she has this moment. So Cheryl Strayed lost her mom, and her
Oh
mom
gosh.
was like the love of her life.
That
And
seems
what
unhealthy.
and what happens
So sorry.
what happens what happened afterwards was that she had 4 years of grief and
Oh,
she spiraled. She did heroin. She slept with anyone. She cheated on her husband. And so she does the Pacific Crest Trail. And at the end of the trail, she sort of comes to this cathartic understanding of her grief. And she says, what if I was sorry? What if doing heroin taught me a lesson? What if I did want to sleep with all those men? What if saying yes was the right answer instead of saying no? And what if all those things that people told me I shouldn't have done got me to where I'm at today? And, you know,
yeah,
that to me
absolutely.
is
Powerful and
powerful.
true.
You make mistakes
Yeah.
and you learn from
Also,
those
like
mistakes.
you do, and the majority of the things that people like quote unquote feel bad for are things that are like social norms. Like heroin, they sure there are laws about it, but like,
Yeah.
what do I care if someone is struggling and self-medicating in some way? Or you know what I mean? Or who
Yeah.
am I to judge someone who became addicted to an addictive thing? Like,
Yeah.
duh. Do you know what I mean?
And, and,
It's made up
and
rules.
and you want that person, you don't want that person to ever endanger their life, but you understand why. Exactly what you just said. They became addicted to an addictive
Yeah.
thing.
No shit.
No
And you
shit,
know what?
there's
This
pain.
is
Some people can't
yes.
metabolize pain the way others do. It's fine.
Yes. It's
People lose it.
fine. Yes, you're totally right. And you know what? I'm going to say something, and I probably don't have the right to say this. I hope nobody is listening from my family, but my brother, I found out that I had a brother as an adult and a half brother. And my brother is missing right now. Because of, I think mental health struggles. My brother believes that he is a burden to others because of his like quote unquote mistakes. And I so wish that for people like him, there was just like a soft place to land, to feel safe, to admit when you're wrong, and to ask for help and guidance, because then we would have so fewer people ostracizing their own selves, and then like bad things happen. So yeah, you're right. I could not agree more.
Sorry. I have a
What?
sister. No, I have a sister who
Oh
struggles
no.
with mental health. And you know what?
Really?
I wish there was a moment we can just say, "Hey, it's okay. You're not a burden."
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
she says things outlandish. And by the way, because she's my sister and I grew up with her. It's we can say nasty things, but at the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
day, I want to be like, I love you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're
it's
not a burden.
okay.
She's she
No.
she's differently abled, but she is so Emma, she is so smart. She has so much power within her that she understands that because she's differently abled, she thinks she's being a burden onto other people.
No. Oh my
And I
gosh,
want
never.
and I want to be like, no. Honey, it's because you're a Flores that you're it's because you're a Flores is that you're over the top. Nothing to do with you being differently abled. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not nothing to do with what
It's because
circumstances
you're an
you face.
Aries, girl.
No, girl, you're a Taurus. Like, come on. Like, who can stand that? But no, it's
That's so funny.
and what you just said about your half brother, it's like are the words I want to give to my sister who, by the way, again, my sister, she has petit mal seizures. She has a different perspective on the world.
Hmm.
She has been told she has been less than her entire life. And now that she is in her 40s,
Hmm.
again, a byproduct of being told she was less than, she sees my mom with dementia. She doesn't know how to rationalize the world. At the same time,
Yeah.
her body is going through changes, and she doesn't understand that there are people who are in her corner. She's not a burden. I don't know. I'm sorry. This has become
Don't
like a
apologize. No,
therapy
don't
session.
apologize. And I think I am so grateful that you shared that with me because there are many people out there
Yeah.
who don't realize that they are not a burden, that they are not a burden to those around them. And here's something, someone said something really, really special to me one time, and I didn't understand it at the time. I now think of it frequently when I'm trying to counsel or help others. They said, I was going through a hard time. And they said to me, I was just like explaining what was going on. They said to me, Emma, what if it wasn't you? What if you weren't the problem? I thought that was really powerful because I can only speak for myself, but I was taught that I was a waste of oxygen. I was a waste of a life on this earth. And so my brain always thought my brain always thought that it was me, that I was the burden, I was the villain, I was the bad guy. And I would like, would like to say to my brother and your sister and anyone struggling out there, what if it wasn't you? What if we loved you? And maybe your brain's tricking you, you know? That's it. That's all I have about it.
Oh no, that's beyond beautiful and so articulate. And thank you for having the tools for that.
Thank you for having the tools for that. What am I saying? Look at me, I'm all red in the face. I get embarrassed, but like,
Why do you get
I don't got time for
embarrassed?
that. I literally don't have time. I could die at any second. A blood clot could go to my brain right this second. I think I have like four, and I could die. So YOLO.
Hashtag YOLO. But I think if people embodied that perspective a little bit more, by the way, it's whether it's a blood clot or something else, we can be gone in a second. And
Absolutely.
what are we leaving? What are we leaving the impression for my sister, for your brother, for the person that we pass on the streets, right?
Yeah, you're
In
right.
today's world.
That's the most important thing. Because again, for the children.
For the children. Okay.
For the children.
We have two more Polaris questions that we
Oh my
have
gosh, I love that you were
time.
like lightning round and my answers are 15 minutes long. I'm so sorry.
No. Okay, first of all, like my longest podcast here, our longest podcast here is like 5 hours. So
Oh, good.
trust me,
Okay. Okay,
you
good,
are
good, good.
totally fine. I want to be
Oh,
respectful of your time.
thank goodness. My
Eh?
time is useless.
You feel the same way about
Or
mine.
it's priceless. Either way, it has no value.
Well, I like to think it has lots of value. But anyways, here's the thing. Okay, here's a question.
I'm obsessed with you. I feel like we have
Uh,
similar brains.
I know. I'm like trying to process what you just said, but also read the next question.
I'm also trying to process what I said. I'm
While
like, what?
while still physically trying to metabolize a kelp martini that Gwyneth Paltrow served me, and I'm just retconning right now.
Oh, did you drink it? I thought you just like mainlined it into your arm.
Right,
Isn't that her
right
thing?
there's my IV.
Everything's an IV for her, right? I don't know.
Um, wait, what is one word to describe Polaris?
Bold.
Yeah, she is bold.
Period. Bold.
Period. Bold. I love that.
Me
She's
too.
such a when I first saw her in the comics, and I must have been, gosh, I must have been like 11 or something like that. She just physically popped on the page, but also when she was talking, and it was a X-Men Unlimited issue, I believe it was issue 11, where she was with Alex, Scott, and Jean, and she just had this like BDE about her. Sorry.
You're right, though. You're right. That's her. She's bold, and
Yeah,
she always has been, even in those earlier issues that, I'm not like
yeah.
100% gonna approve of. But like, yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly.
And I loved you as Polaris. You were so amazing.
Oh,
You're
that's really sweet. That's so
iconic.
fun. It's so funny. During season 2 of The Gifted, they gave me bangs because we couldn't afford to edit out the lace from my wigs.
Wait, hang on. Let me Google this really quickly.
Are
I
you
want to
Googling lace
watch
wigs?
season 4, the.
Yeah,
Hang
and so
on.
I got bangs, and I actually appreciate it. Why they did it. They wanted to give
Oh, you do
Blink
have your bangs there. Yes.
they wanted to give Blink bangs, but then we were like, hold on, or somebody, I don't know who said it, maybe a producer was like, hold on, why does every Asian American character have bangs? Let's not give
Yeah.
Blink bangs. That seems like a weird stereotype. Which, like, is that true? Yeah, I mean, growing up, I feel like that was the like a look. I don't know. So they gave me bangs. I used to call them my soccer mom bangs.
Your soccer mom bangs.
And now I literally have them now. Like I like I made fun of the bangs so much, but like I literally
You look
have them.
iconic in
Thank you.
them.
I'm in my Taylor Swift era.
I love it. Be in your Taylor Swift era.
I am. Taylor, call me.
Taylor,
Taylor, do
call
you
me.
need an assistant? I'll do it for free.
Okay, one thing I wanted to talk about, and I didn't know if we were gonna have time for it, but I have to ask.
I thought we
You
had
know,
5 hours.
we have 5 hours. Okay, good. Get comfortable. Um, Wrong Turn.
Yes. What about it?
I loved it. A.
Thank you. I didn't write
I
it.
no, Mandy, you did such a phenomenal job. Your death scene.
Oh my gosh, this one. Yeah, that was
Yes,
super
with your
fun.
you had your glasses on too when you did that, right? Do I
Yeah.
remember
Or
correctly?
no, I think I had lost my glasses at
Oh,
that
you lost
point,
your glasses.
which it was like funny because my character was supposed to be like blind, like nearsighted, basically, like really nearsighted, and then
I
like
do
she loses
remember
her
that part.
glasses. But she loses her glasses and then can see perfectly fine the rest of the film. Like, what? Okay.
Well, I loved the original when it came out. And I
Oh my
believe there
good.
is a sequel too. I don't.
There were
And
like 7. So
I
the
know.
cast, my friend Vardon, who played Gary in the film,
Yeah.
he died, the one that died first. We're really good friends. He's a great artist. Check him out, Vardon Aurora, only on Spotify, or I don't know. But he and I always joke, we call it Wrong Turn 7 because they made like 6 other ones. And after the second one, they basically become softcore porn. Like we tried to watch them together. We were like, oh,
You're like,
no, not for us. No, thank you. But yeah, that was such an amazing experience. Our director Mike is just super freaking sick. He's just so good at what he does and such a good soul. And yeah, thanks for watching it. I liked
well,
it too.
I think my husband and I we watched it with our little guy who's no longer with us. Shout out to Spider Palm. But we were
Oh,
on our sofa in the city and we were watching. We only tuned in because you were in it. Sidebar.
what? That's so
No, I
sweet.
Well, because we loved the original with Eliza Dunsku, and so we were like, "Oh,
Yes.
here's a revival." And I was like, "No, Polaris is in it." And you're like, "Oh well, God, if Emma Dumont's on it, when then we have to see it." And we like ordered Papa John's pizza. Not my proudest moment, but I love Papa John's pizza. And
Papa John's call out. Papa
call
John's sponsor an episode. Actually, Paul, are we gonna make a new podcast? Are we gonna host a
yeah.
new podcast together?
Oh
And
my
it could be sponsored
God,
by Papa John's?
it's
I'm
gonna
not
be like,
kidding.
would it be Papa John's and like insert whatever? Like we need social issues,
Sponsored by
movies,
Papa John's. Yeah.
Papa John's, like right there. Or in Miami, we call him Padre Juan.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in Miami,
Padre Juan, sponsor us. I
Padre
love
Juan
that.
slide into our DMs.
That is so fun.
But it was such a it was such a wonderful memory for me because our little guy wasn't doing so well, and we knew all we had to do was watch a movie with you in it, but a horror
Oh.
movie, order our Papa John's
Yeah,
pizza,
watch the scariest movie you can think of. You're like,
and
oh,
we
that's
draw the
feeling great.
circle, and it was so great. And again, in terms of revivals and stuff like that, it was good. It was
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. It was enjoyable. We loved it.
It was good, basically, because they like took the original and then they threw that out. And then they were like, we're gonna make something totally different. And it was great. I thought it was a more intellectual, more thought out version. The first one was fun, it was great entertainment, but I really enjoyed the new Wrong Turn 7. WT7.
Move over, Fast and Furious. We got Wrong Turn 7 here. No, it was really great. We enjoyed it, but
Wait, I have something to tell you,
tell me.
but I have to tell you off mic.
Okay. Okay. Wait, let's see. Let me ask a question that you may have to be a little bit more judicious with. Christopher
Oh.
Nolan. Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer. Did I say that correctly?
Yeah, you
Oppenheimer. Yeah,
did. I'm
Oppenheimer.
laughing because of how you prefaced the question. And what I have to say is probably not gonna be great. I'm gonna say this because I'm in my brutal honesty era. I did
Mhm.
not it wasn't the best time for me on set.
I'm
They're
sorry.
very strict. No, don't be. It's like creatives all have their own process and mm, I didn't know what that was going on. There are a lot of like rules, I think, on set. And everyone kind of seems scared a little bit. I don't know if I don't know why Chris is cool, fine, everyone's cool and fine, but there was just like I don't know if I don't know if it was like the pressure of the project or what, but I don't know. It was a little bit
Yeah.
not for me. I
Well, first of
was like,
all,
what are these rules? Like, what's going on?
I have to tell you, I graduated with an English degree. I started working in book publishing. I have
Hmm.
no qualms in saying I worked at HarperCollins for a long period of time. And for most people, that would be a dream job. Like, oh my
Hmm.
God, you've made
Yeah,
it. And you're like, I'm fucking miserable.
miserable. Yep.
And it's not only that I'm miserable, the people around me are terrified. And I'll never forget one of my dear friends, my work wifey. I'm not going to say her name, but shout out to her. She, brilliant editor. Let me tell you, went into editorial meetings and was a voice for people who were not being published.
Ugh, amazing.
Women of color,
Thank you.
marginalized voices, people who this book isn't going to make a lot of money. She's like, who cares?
Who
This
cares?
needs to be out there. But she came
Yep.
to me once upset. And Emma, do you know why she was upset about a particular
Tell me.
situation at work? Because
Tell
she
me.
did not CC the execs in the right order.
I'm
What
so
bullshit
sorry.
is that?
That
So
is like the craziest trauma, like BS bullshit.
fuck
Yes,
that.
exactly. Fuck that shit.
So
Oh my
when
gosh.
you have a work environment, whether it's a set, whether it's a bullpen, whatever, that people are terrified,
Hmm.
to what end are you doing this?
Yeah, why are we
Why?
doing
Why?
this?
Why?
Like literally, okay, I'll just say it because it did happen. I don't know, nobody's gonna sue me, and I don't really care if you do. I have nothing for you to take. But like I was told on set to not take my shoes off, my high heels off. And I was like, why? It's painful. And they're like, it's the rule. And I'm like, whose rule? Or is this just made up? Like, what is this?
The absurdity of
It's so
something like
crazy.
that. Like, girl, they're high heels. Girl needs a break here. You know what I
Well, it's
mean?
like
Like,
been 10 hours. I just like, you know,
yeah, it's also been 10 hours. Sorry. I'm like
I'm
here, like, oh, you
not.
just showed up on set and you're, no, it's 10 hours.
I'm
People,
like, I'm in pain. Yeah, it's weird. It
we
was a
can,
weird.
we can all like do a little better if we just question some of the rules that are
Absolutely.
instituted
Absolutely.
and
And
try to make life
I'm
easier for other people.
totally, and I'm not afraid to be the one who's like the weirdo because I'm sure people thought I was insane for like speaking up or saying anything. I probably looked like a spoiled brat. I don't care because it was off-putting. The experience was off-putting.
Anyone who thinks you're a spoiled brat based off of something like that is just someone who's a fucking moron. Just sorry. Sorry.
I love you.
Sorry. I'm like, now you're gay. I'm like, you're bitchy gay. I'm like, no. Like,
That's a
absolutely not.
stereotype we don't perpetuate, but I
That's
appreciate
fair.
it.
That's yes, that's fair.
No, 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 I'm just kidding.
That's fair. That's fair. But it's for me, it's just baffling like how some people treat others, especially like
Absolutely.
and how they perceive others for standing up for themselves. Again, it is it's to what we were talking about. What if you're not the problem?
Yep.
What if it's something more than
Yep.
that situation? So
Yep. Exactly. And like, frankly, that could be said on like a grander scale. Like, if we look at the American prison system, maybe all those people aren't criminals. Maybe they're not all bad guys. Maybe there's a corporation that makes money off of the prison system. You know, and yet we treat them like they're like the worst things. Oh my gosh, you had this much weed in your pocket, or you stole something, or whatever simple non-violent crime. Come on.
you're speaking my language right now. Thank you. Thank you. No, I don't want to laugh like that because it's let me tell you something. The conversations we're talking about, first of all, I love you so much. We have just known each other for like an hour or two, but like people need to have conversations like this.
Absolutely.
We should not be having people in a system that someone is profiting off of having those individuals in there for what? I'm sorry, you had weed. I'm sorry, you
Yeah,
got pulled over.
what?
Yeah, you made a mistake. There's no doubt that doing
Yeah,
some things
something or whatever. But
fine,
like,
but you don't have to incarcerate someone. It baffles me the way we do the prison system
it's
here, and
gross.
it's not unlike our education system when you start
Oh
boiling
no,
it
they're all the
down.
same. They're all the same. They're all
Yeah,
corporations. And people have to understand that like corporations, like, they're not nameless, faceless things. There are humans at the top of them, oftentimes families, generations upon generations who hoard wealth and hold it over every other American citizen. But there are less of them than there are of us. So why is that allowed? I hate it. I hate it so much. Ah,
can I ask a question? You have the
no.
no. Can I ask a question 2 hours later? I'm sorry. You know, it's so funny when I was saying that out loud. I was like, "Well, I've been talking to her for 2 hours. I can ask what I can ask a question."
Also, we're best friends now, so you can ask me anything.
Hashtag BFFs. Where was that moment? Because you were posting this video recently, and you said something about like as an actress, you were told to be like aloof and like sort of like you couldn't be bothered with things. At what point where
Mm.
you were like, because you know who also said that, and I also worked
Oh.
on her book at Harper was Rose McGowan, where she was like, I was told get my brain, put it in a drawer, and then get at the end of the day. But she had her aha moment. What was your aha moment where you were like,
I think, um, honestly, like maybe just like a month ago. Like genuinely, I think just recently in the past few weeks, I had never allowed myself or been allowed by others to be myself, and through healing my trauma, literally the trauma from my childhood and my early 20s. So my whole life, LOL, my entire life of abuse, healing
I'm so
that
sorry.
has opened my eyes to the truth. Like just the other day, I realized that I had been sexually assaulted at work. And I like never
So
really
sorry.
had quite thought about that before. You know, you put it in your brain, you block it out, whatever defense mechanisms or protection your brain does for you. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's really screwed up. Like I did when I was 14, I did a pregnancy lingerie shoot where you put a big belly on and then you're in lingerie. And I'm like, well, that's kind of creepy. Why would you have a 14-year-old doing that? And so, you know, it really is like PTSD, like healing, where these things pop into your head. And I think finally, literally a week ago, when I like decided that I wanted to be like an advocate for people or like talk about tough issues, I was like, oh, wait, I'm not an actor by choice. I was put into this industry. Like when I was thinking like when I was younger, I like desperately wanted to do like speech and debate. I like really like in my robotics program, I tried to start like a robotics UN. Like I always have had a passion for this stuff. But I wasn't ever allowing myself or had been allowed to be myself. And so, yeah, like this week, that's my answer.
This
But
way?
it's true. Like, it's true that you, like, even it's down to like the clothes you wear. It's
Yeah.
everything. It's the clothes you wear, the makeup you put on, your hair. Everything is scrutinized and everything is a brand. And when you're a brand, when you're a product, you don't get to be a human.
Yeah. How is
And
it
so,
like? How is it like being yourself though
oh my
now?
gosh, it's amazing.
I
It's
feel like
amazing.
you've stepped into your light.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm so grateful for myself. I'm so grateful for myself and the hard work I've done on myself because it hasn't been easy. I've cried myself to sleep many a night. I have PTSD, which I've said many times, and there are moments where I get flashes and crazy things and get really, really scared and um I'm I like see my abuser and whatever, get the feeling that they're gonna hurt me, and
I'm so
that's
sorry.
very no, don't be sorry. It's okay. But I'm doing so much better now that I like can breathe into myself. And actually it's funny because here is the moment. I was saying I don't know when the moment was, but here's the actual moment. Here it is. I have my OCD has always latched on to active shootings. Like it's called magical thinking, where you think like if you do
Yeah.
something, something else will happen. And I very much felt that like if I went out in public or I went to specific places, that there would be an active shooting. And like I even remember one time in Atlanta, I went to a Kathy Griffin show and like I had to leave after 10 minutes because I was like, I'm gonna get killed. I have to leave.
Okay, although shout out to Kathy Griffin. We
Yeah,
love
call
Kathy.
us. Actually, I
Call us.
messaged her on Instagram the other day and she messaged me back. She's a real one. Yeah, she was really sweet.
Kathy, Emma, me, you, Kathy Griffin, and Papa John's.
Absolutely. Next
Sidebar.
Monday?
Next
Perfect.
Monday. I'm free.
I can't wait. And I started to reflect on like as I'm healing, I had a moment of clarity where I was like, well, what's my fear? What really am I scared of? It's that why question we have to
Yeah.
ask ourselves. And when I finally realized what it was, it's that I was terrified of what I would do in that situation because I didn't know what I would do, right? I was like, I have to find an exit, I have to get down, what would I do? And it became very, very clear to me, not what someone else would do, but what I would do. What I would do is I would obviously race as fast as I could towards the shooter. 1000%, because I don't believe my life is worth more than anyone else's. And once I had that clarity of like the thing I would do, I knew that I would do that and be able to handle that specific situation, which is a very American situation. I finally felt like myself. I didn't need to have to worry. I didn't need to have to panic. I didn't need to have to be stressed out all the time. I know what I would do in a crisis, and I would try to stop it. And yeah, so that was my moment, my aha moment.
I'm sorry, I'm absorbing what you said. So I'm it's so when you realize that it's so funny. I find like a lot of people don't understand their fear is actually rooted in a strength. And
Totally.
there's some people who are afraid of something happening, but it's because you would know how to
Mm.
rise
Yeah.
to that occasion. And the idea of magical thinking, I'm a big Joan Didion stan. I'm obsessed with her, but she wrote about magical thinking in the context of her husband Gregory Dune dying and how that really does take a hold on you. And you
Oh
can't
yeah.
think logically when you're trapped in this like realm of surreal thinking, magical thinking, whatever. The idea that the impossible is possible. In her
Yeah.
case, she didn't want to throw away shoes for her dead husband because
Oh
he's going to need
gosh,
them when they
yeah.
come back. Well, I can't throw
Yeah.
away his shoes. He's going to need his shoes when it comes back. And when she boiled it down, it was about not being able to rectify his loss. So what you're saying right now about being afraid being in a public space because of a shooter, it's boiled in that idea that, you know what? You're going to lay your life on down on the line. You're going to
Yeah.
charge that. And I think if people just ask the why a little bit more, if we ask
Yeah.
ourselves why, what we're sort of trapped ourselves in, what our fears are, we can find a way out of that labyrinth. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And it's
Absolutely. And
difficult conversations
100%. And it doesn't
with
matter. There is no
ourselves.
with ourselves. Yeah, exactly. The hardest
Yeah.
conversations are with ourselves, honestly.
Yeah.
And the answer doesn't have to like none of us have the same answer, right? Like if I asked someone else what they would do in an active shooting or tried to get to the why, they'd be like, well, the reason I'm terrified is because I have a little brother at home I have to take care of or whatever it is, right? Like I'm scared of others. I think the majority of the time we will find that those reasons for being terrified aren't even about us because I don't think humans are naturally selfish. I think we are naturally selfless, actually, in many ways. And there's sort of this like survival instinct thing that we all like think is ingrained in us. And I don't know if that's what it is. I don't know if it's our I think it's survival for the species and not our personal survival, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
You're like, no, it makes no sense.
No, it makes perfect sense because no, I do. I am an optimist at the end of the day. And I do believe that we are motivated by helping our fellow individual. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like our fellow
Yeah,
person who's next door. And I like to think that when push comes to shove, you will lay down your life for another person, for
yeah,
another soul, for another creature on
yeah.
this planet. And
And the truth is, we have.
yeah,
Like, we don't live in, like, in this country, we don't see war on our soil anymore. But, like, we know people, even though it's not always the right thing, they think it's the right thing, but people will go put their lives on the line.
yeah,
And that's the thing. Nobody thinks they're the villain, except for a very, very small percentage of people who struggle with a very specific, mental health struggle that they, need help. But besides that very, very tiny, 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 tiny portion of humans, I believe the majority of us, and actually I know the majority of us, think we're doing the right thing. They want, people who are screaming left, right, and center, put more guns in schools, put more guns in schools, give every teacher a gun. It's because they think that is the solution. It's not because they are trying to hurt kids, you know? And so I agree with you completely. And maybe we're just too optimists, but why not?
why not? Why not be an optimist?
Absolutely.
Emma, what do you have coming down the pipeline? Where can folks engage with you? Where can they see you next?
You know I don't work. Just kidding. You can catch me on my Amazon delivery route. I guess I'm an Oppenheimer, that movie that I'll
Yeah.
probably be cut out of. And that's coming out. I don't know. It's long. I think it's like 3.5 hours long, and it's a bunch of white guys in suits. So have fun. And
Yes, have fun at the box
I
office.
mean, no, I will say I do think it's a very important. I don't know if this was the intention of the film, but the film is about the Manhattan Project, and
Yeah.
I believe it features, parts of the Manhattan Project that basically were like a bunch of old, like white guys went to, indigenous land and decided that they were gonna like do a bunch of shit to it. So I think that it is important. So actually, I take back what I said. Everyone, go watch it.
Go watch it right now.
But
I also,
yeah, you can find me on Instagram at Emma Dumont. And
oh
I
yeah.
check my DMs, and if you need help, actually real talk, if you need any sort of like if you need counsel or comfort or support, message me and I will do my best to see it.
Well, you're such a huge advocate. I know other people in our community, in the X-Men community, have slid into your DMs and you have responded. And you have just
Oh,
been a wonderful human. Among them, we know Jeff from Mutant Con. He is
Jeff!
Jeff, what's up? Wait, let me message him. Let me see what he's up to.
Oh my gosh, can he come in on the call?
Hang
No, I'm
on.
kidding. You want to like go eat Papa John's?
No.
I'm not gonna take up your whole night.
Stop it. Let's see. I'm gonna say unless that's hi. But you're such a
Alright.
special human. Thank you so much for
You
being here.
are. Thank you for having me. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Familia.